Hey, welcome back to the Prosperity Collabs podcast. My name is Chris Mueller. And on this podcast, we really dive into the science of success by listening to some of the stories of the most successful people I know, or the most successful people that you've recommended. Today, I've got a fantastic guest. His name is Tyler Hungerford. And Tyler is someone I've been working with for the last 3 years. And over the course of those 3 years, I have watched his business just grow year over year over year. Now, that's impressive, but what you don't know is Tyler is a real estate agent, and the real estate market over the last 3 years has gone down, 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 while Tyler's business has gone up, up, up. And that doesn't happen just by accident. So without further ado, Tyler, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Hey man, I'm glad you're here. I had this whole cool intro music thing set up, and all of my technology is rebelling against me today. So it's going to come in post. I promise in post you get walk-in music. I think you deserve it, man. So Tyler,
September.
What's that?
I said I hope it's September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's all.
Well, I'm not sure if I've got the licensing for that, so there is that. So, hey, man. So real quick, give us a little background on you. You're a real estate agent. Tell me a little bit about, how long you've been in real estate and what was your background coming into it?
So I've been in real estate since 2016. I have had my license since then, but I actually got started in the commercial realm in 2015. I was able to secure a job at one of the largest commercial real estate firms in the country, Lee & Associates. So I was working at their number one office in the country for the industrial sector, and I handled all of their marketing. So I did a lot of graphic design for them, set them up on a lot of scheduling for all their mailers, things like that. So I got some marketing experience there. Do fix and flips. So they would purchase a property that needs some work, and then they would fix it up and then turn around and sell it for a profit. So we did that for, 4 years. I did 2016 to 2018 with them, and then 2019 to 2021 with another group. So it was been incredible. So
nice,
that's how I
man.
got started. I started in the investment realm.
Yeah, I love that. And so from a background of marketing, so from marketing for a large commercial, you said, then working with investors, investment groups. And tell me again, what were you doing with the investment group? You were doing acquisitions, or what was that?
Yeah, so acquisitions is when you go out and you market for properties that are distressed or need some work. And you would speak to the homeowner, talk to them a little bit about their needs, and then work with them on getting them a good cash offer for their property, so they can walk away whole, and then you still have the opportunity to make some profit on the other side after fixing it. So I would deal with homeowners directly there and acquire properties directly with them, or I would work with other real estate investors called wholesalers and purchase from them as well.
Okay, so that's what I love is that you have this incredible experience that you're bringing into the real estate career. Now, I work with a lot of real estate agents, and I've worked with a lot of real estate agents who have backgrounds in things that should translate. They should be able to just step into this industry and start killing it. They don't. Not with like. It's not everybody who can do it. You stepped into the industry, and it seems like you did pretty well out of the gate. I mean, when we met, how long had you been selling then as an individual agent?
As an individual agent, full-time, 2021. But I had started as an individual agent working for a property management company in 2019. So that's when I got my first sale. But it was part-time because I was really working on acquiring new investors for the property management company to come in and sign leases with us, things like that. So I wasn't necessarily focused on the sales side, but they had a few people that were interested in selling. So that first year I was able to work with 13 different people and sold a little over $5 million in real estate.
That's right. Yeah. And a good first year. I think in your then next year you did what I want to say 11 million in volume.
In 2020, I did. In 2021, I did 11 million.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I was
20, I
thinking.
did
Yeah.
much less than that because I was focused. I was working with a real estate investor again and doing flips. So I did just over $800,000 in profit on the flip side.
Mm-hmm.
We did, I think, 13 houses, and we made a little over 800 grand.
Nice.
So that was a good
Yeah.
year. We did good.
So one of the things that I've watched you do over the last 3 years is you approach the real estate sales business like a business, right? And that's a differentiator, I think, in what you're doing and how you're growing as opposed to other people. Give me a little background on that. So as an individual agent, how did that begin? Because again, you said 2020 kind of low, 2021 11 million. I think 2022 it was closer to 14 million, right?
14.
And then 2023 it was what, 24 plus?
Just north. Yeah.
Just north of 24 million, right? And that to me is a scalable business. I'm assuming, actually, I know the backside of it, but
you do know.
I know because hey, I've had the honor to work with you on this. But
yeah, it's been a fun.
so tell me about it, man. That mindset, because you came with a business owner mindset, right?
Yes.
So tell me about that first full-time year, 2021. What did that look like?
I mean, I was all over the place. I really didn't have much direction. I didn't really have much focus in terms of how to actually create a sustainable business. I was a sales agent, so I was just running all over the place trying to get my next deal, my next person to work with. I was just constantly hunting. Not to say I don't do that now, but it's a far more deliberate way that I do that. So before, I really just didn't have a lot of systems in place. I was just picking up the phone and making as many calls as I could to try and get as much business as I could. So it worked out amazingly well for me. In 2021, I found out I was having a kid. And then more importantly, I found out I was having a daughter. I looked at my life and I said, am I the kind of man I want my daughter to marry? Right? Am I that man? Am I a good enough man for her later on? Because I'm going to be that representation for her of what a man should be growing up. So, I just wanted to be a good example. So that totally changed my life. That totally changed my perspective and really made me want to do this as a business, not just as a sales rep. Because I've always wanted to be a business owner, but I really didn't know how. And that's part of the reason why you and I started having our conversations was, one, we did a podcast, which was really great, but then we went deeper in having a lot of consultations. And it was a couple months that we were talking and going over things and really looking at my business and how it's growing, but how to keep that sustainable, how to keep that continual growth in the business to make sure I leave a legacy for my daughter and any other kids I decide to have, which I've just found out I'm having another one. So,
that's so awesome.
Yeah. So now I'm diving deeper into my business and looking at things again and saying, well, how can I work on this to make sure I have sustainable growth in the company? And, having you as an advocate with me there on a monthly basis has just been seeing exponential growth in my company. So I'm seriously thankful for the opportunity to be working with you because I don't think I'd be where I'm at without you.
Well, man, I love that. And thank you. I mean, and really, truly, you are just one of my favorite people to work with because you come in with such an incredible commitment, right? That's what enabled you the early success, I think, is that commitment, right? And that hustle and, not a guy who's afraid of hard work at all.
No.
But once we paired that up with some solid systems, right? It's been amazing to see that grow and to see that scale. And so that, I agree. So, one of the things I've really enjoyed in watching your business grow is that commitment to learning that I see.
Yeah.
that's not an average thing, right? That's an abnormal thing. That's a distinguisher, right?
Yeah.
And so, tell me about how that's been underlying in what you do. Like, what is that, where does that come from? Is that like a family thing? Are you guys all sit around the table and talk about productivity books? I mean, where does this come from?
No. No, I think it's just always, I've been such an avid reader growing up that I've always thought that it was important to continue that, after college and everything. I'm a college dropout. I didn't do so great in college, so I had to find ways that worked best for me in terms of education. And so, reading books and everything like that, I got really granular with that. And then I would take that book and I'd either discuss it with you or I would discuss it with other people and see what they thought. And, oh, have you read this? Yes, I've read that. That's amazing. Have you listened to this podcast? This podcast says we should read this book. Okay, I'm just going to go read the book because I'm always in a pursuit of excellence. So if I can be excellent, if I can get to that point by learning from what other people are doing, well, then let's just shorten our time span here of all the mistakes I have to make. Why don't we just read a book or do a course or take a coaching and be able to collapse my time, collapse my losses, and be able to accelerate the growth. So that's what I look at when I look at coaching or anything like that. I try and look at it and say, is this going to get me from point A to point Z in a really quick manner so I can make sure that my business is continuing to grow, that I can continue to grow within it as well. So that's how I think about it. That's why I'm always continuing my education. I'm always reading, trying to anyway. It's mostly listening while I drive now. That makes the biggest difference for me. But I have all these books right here. I mean, I can pull them out for you, right? The 10-Minute Salesperson, 12-Week Year, this one, More Money, Less Hustle. Raising entrepreneurs. This is about raising kids to be entrepreneurs. Linchpin, and of course the big one here, Real Estate Investor. Right?
Yeah.
So it's all about doing things to learn to be better. If I can be better, if I can learn to be better, then why not? Why not give myself the opportunity?
Okay, so I want to synthesize something of you're saying because I think it's really important that people have takeaways that they can apply, right?
Sure.
And so what I've heard is, so far, you came in with, step back. You had a moment of defeat, college, let's call it that, right?
Yeah.
Learning. From that moment of defeat, you springboarded that into a pretty phenomenal, start to your career. But what your commitment has been is hustle, hard work, right? And that hard work was there, but you also have a very driving big why, we'll call it, your daughter, right? So. I want to be the kind of dad that my kids look up to, and I want to be the kind of man that my kids, my daughter brings into her life someday, right? That's a powerful why. And so what you said was, if I'm going to be that person, then I'm going to have to do things that are unnatural for me. I'm going to have to maybe stop hustling as much and start adopting some models that can allow me to leverage my time better. So, to get those results, I've got to do unnatural things, and I got to try models from people who have done it before.
Well, that's it. That's it. That's exactly what I'm looking to do. And that's exactly what I've been able to do while here at Keller Williams. Mm-hmm. I was not getting that support from the other brokerage that I was at. I couldn't even get an office because the broker wouldn't give me one for some odd reason, even though my production was insanely good. Anyway, it's like I needed that extra step. I needed that extra coaching. I needed that extra help to get to the next level. And I found that here.
Yeah. Well, I just find
that here.
Well, that really is what I seek to do as a consultant is, and I say it all the time, I'm a mission guy, not a money guy, I love
Yeah.
money. Don't get me wrong, but the missions, yeah, I love. And, I love aligning myself with what you're doing and helping you to achieve. I just posted a blog to the Prosperity Collabs website, and really it is that around that idea that as humans, there's two things that distinguish us. And one, it's our ability to imagine, right? We can goal set, we can project a vision forward. Dogs don't set goals, right?
Right.
But we can. And the other distinguishing kind of advantage we have over the rest of the creation here is we can bring people into that, and we can allow them to be our who, the person who can help us get to the next level, the person who can hold us accountable. And the stat, you're 77% more likely to achieve a goal if you give someone permission to keep you accountable to that goal. And it's huge. It's a huge productivity hack, right? It's having other people. It's a community that's lifting you up and supporting you in getting you where you need to go.
Right. I mean, that's what I was looking for. At the other office, we didn't have meetings. We didn't collaborate with other agents. Everyone was in their own little space, and no one was really looking to talk to anybody else. And so, I mean, that's great, but that was not what I was looking for. I needed that extra education. I needed that extra help. I wasn't a seasoned agent. And even seasoned agents, they need help. They need to get back to the roots. It's not always about knowing, oh, I think I'm the best at what I do and I have no room to grow. No, there's always room to grow. There's always an opportunity to see a different way of looking at something to help you establish maybe a better opportunity for yourself too. So I think that's what makes Keller Williams so different than a lot of the other offices I've been at, is that collaborative approach. And so I think Prosperity Collabs is an awesome approach to what you do, because I mean, it's how you live here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love that. And it's ability for us to reach a little bit further than the walls of this building,
Right.
And that really is, like I said, I'm a mission guy. Right. But okay. So one of the first, I want to step back to your journey a little bit,
Sure.
because when you came to us, you were a single agent. And we identified the first multiplier was going to be someone who was on the administrative side, someone who could systemize you a little bit. Tell me about that process, because I will say you went a direction I would not necessarily have advised at first, but you did it with art. So tell me about your first hire.
Yeah, so my first hire was my mom, and she came in as my admin, which was very helpful to me, actually, because I've never really hired people before. So I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't really have a firm understanding of what that process looked like. So I was able to hire my mom, and she's a fiery little Italian lady. So she'd let me know if I was stepping over the line and help me bring it back to the center. So yeah, a lot of people say, you don't want to work with family, you don't want to do things like that. But for me, it was exactly what I needed. And her and I got much closer. Now she's watching the baby now, and she's fully retired, but it allowed her to leave her job that she had been at for 40 years to finally retire from that, have a place and ease her into retirement now, have a place that she can enjoy. She was, waking up at 6 every day and going into work from 9 to 5. When she came to work with me and we started at 10, she left at 4. So she loved that schedule. That was super helpful for her. But it also it allowed her to see growth in her son and help her son to grow, which is every parent's dream, I think. So now she's doing what every grandma wants to do, which is watching the grandkids. So But for me, that was my most important hire, because it helped teach me how to have leadership with someone that was not going to necessarily follow me, because that's my mom, she was not, that's not inbred in her. I follow her. And so to be able to have her follow me and then be able to explain things in a way to her to help her understand my industry, because she's in banking. That's a totally different industry. To step into real estate and step into admin work at that, there's just a lot of things that come with that. So I had to step up with the way that I spoke to her, how I taught her, how I created systems for her to help move the needle along in my business. I mean, we had a rough couple months. I'll tell you that, right? It was not easy. I'm sure people down the hall heard us yelling at each other every once in a while. You know, we're Italian. That's how we talk. So, so, but it was really good. It was, and it's still really good. She talks to me all the time about the business and how it's going and wants to know how things are going, and all the agents that work for me now. She knows all of them by name. Everybody calls her mom. So she loves it, and she's very missed here. But yeah, now she gets to watch my daughter and get to enjoy being a grandma. So
Well, I love it. And, what were some of the things that you did? And, whenever you bring on a new hire, it doesn't matter if it's your mom, it doesn't matter if it's a buyer's agent, it doesn't matter if it's an accountant or even a lawyer. You always have that expected gain. Like everything's good. This is going to be great. It's going to take so much time off my plate, but there's a breaking in period. We're learning to work together. We're shaking things out. And what we do through coaching is we try to take as much of that breaking in period out as possible.
right.
But what were some of the things that you did to get through, I call the messy middle part, right? So you really could get the benefit of that new hire, in this case, your mom.
Yeah. So you had suggested doing a few things. One of them was like, why don't you document your process? Document your process, and then it makes it a heck of a lot easier for someone to copy you. So that's what I did, as I started utilizing Loom videos. And so she learned, okay, this is how I would like my CMAs to be done. This is how I would like my clients to be spoken to that are currently on our listings. Okay. This is how I would like you to search for properties for clients, if that's what she was going to do at that time. Or this is how I would like you to search for different vendors for us to go and talk to. Can you get me a meeting? So I would set her up in those ways so that she would have a little bit more success in the learning curve. So yeah, she'd see me do it once in person, but then she'd also see the video. So then it would just be constantly having that reiteration of, okay, this is what I need to do. Wait a second, I forgot about that one thing. What was it? Let me go back to the video. So then she'd look at the video again, and boom, all of a sudden, she remembered exactly what she needed to do.
Well, and
So
I love
that's
that.
the power of having those systems in place.
Well, and it's such a leverage hack, right? Because
Yeah.
you went through, you trained her, but then you leveraged it so that she had these resources to use, so she didn't have to
Yep.
come to you. So you got your time back, right? And that enabled her to be successful. I think a lot of people, they bring on a new hire, they go through that initial training and they think, oh, we're good. And then they don't realize that to do step B or step, whatever the thing is, they've got 3 steps before that. And they forget to explain that, and then they just forget that it takes time to habitualize these activities. I love your hack. You did some videos for her, which for you was a natural way to do it, as opposed to writing it down or making a notebook or doing that things. You said, okay, what's the most effective means I can do it, and I can get that time back, and I can also support her, and it enabled her to be successful.
She was a process gal too. So she would create processes at the bank and go from A to Z on how her job was worked. And so then she'd create a booklet for that person who, may be taking over her position, or maybe she's out on vacation and they don't know how to do that. So they'd have to go back to the book and figure that out.
Right.
So now I have a really nice book.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the screen. Now I have a really nice book that I can work with.
And that, again, is another huge hack in hiring. Is a lot of times we think, I've got to create the system for this person. Well, when you're hiring the right person, you're hiring someone to make the system, right? And people miss that too. Like the right hire, you tell them, this is the job I want you to do. Follow me for a little bit. I want you to write down the processes. They write the manual. Right? Because again, this is about saving you time, and she did a great job. I think you set yourself up for a phenomenal foundation with the rest of your business growth. So obviously we brought the first hire in, mom, right? And she really was that foundational piece. And I would say you didn't lose any productivity. In fact, you had a baby and you had a couple months where you were first child, and it was but you continued, maybe a little dip in production during that period, but you didn't lose ground. You actually came back and with vengeance came back. How did you do that? How did you continue to grow?
Well, I picked up the phone and made the calls, first and foremost. But I had a grit and determination to make sure that I was doing what I needed to do to get where I wanted to go, which was, continuing to bring in new opportunities. So, I focused on one, lots of prayer. I'm a praying guy. I pray all the time, unceasingly, or try to do it unceasingly. So that's been really important for me. And then two, I tried to leverage my mom as much as I could, or my assistant as much as I could, to help create that extra time for me so I could focus on prospecting, because prospecting is what is going to lead to opportunities. And then shortly thereafter, I saw an opportunity that I could bring on an additional agent to my team, to help leverage some of the activities for like a buyer's agent to go and show properties, extra things that were taking up a large chunk of my time, to then go ahead and have them utilize their time. Maybe they're new in the industry, but it gives them the opportunity to be out with clients, to do some showings, to get a firm understanding of what it takes to be an agent and get them moving along in that process so they can start making some money too. So I leveraged, after working with my mom, I was able to hire my next employee after that. First, I was having him make some calls on some old leads, seeing what he could do. He brought one back to life. So I was like, okay, well, this sounds like he's going to be someone that would be willing to put in the time, put in the effort like I do, for my leads, which is just constantly calling and following up. So that was a really great hire for me. And he was an older gentleman. His name's Robert. He's wonderful. And so we had him join the team. And again, it was a bedding in period, getting him used to what it is to come into the office every day to work, and then setting him up with systems, giving him a couple clients that I was already working with, but didn't necessarily have the time to show them a lot of properties, but he did. So I utilized that from him in his time, and it really helped us grow even quicker. So then I could focus on my 20% in the 80-20 rule, my 20%, which we go over the 80-20 rule, but that 20%, which was prospecting, that's my 20 that I'm really, really good at. So I focused on that, and that led to additional opportunities, not just buyers, but listings. And so that led into then 2023, being able to hire even more agents, having far more opportunities on the table, and far more opportunities to make those calls. Because not only am my agents working on buyer leads, now they're working on listings. Now they're working on my leads, which means they're going to have create more opportunities for the team in general and money for themselves. So that's what I tried to focus on.
So one of the things that I think I've watched you grow in, and bringing employees on, is systems for accountability, right?
Yeah.
And your first hire, Robert, and we've talked about this. Robert is like AC Green on the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq, right? He's a locker room guy. He's bringing that to the place. He's a great guy to have on the team. But we've had a lot of conversations around helping him to be successful, helping all of the agents on your team to be successful. Now, how many agents do you have now?
So my wife joined last year, so that gave me 4. But now she's pregnant, so now I'm back down to 3. So 3 agents plus me is 4. So 4 total for the team at the moment.
Okay. And so tell me about the process of accountability, of setting those systems up to the point where and maybe we're not there yet, you tell me, but where you feel like, yes, there's accountability. It's the kind of accountability that is encouraging them to go out and do more, but it's also holding them to the standard that really represents the culture of our team.
Yeah. So once a week we meet as a team to go over wins, losses, where we're at with our current production, where we're at with our deals, who we're working with. And then every day we go and we go over this little cool role play. Thank you, Beachels. Role play game. We do role playing every single day at 11 o'clock because that's super important. We get them going on the phones, get them excited to get on the phones. So we go through this so they can start mastering their different calls and different different types of scenarios, right? So here's a scenario. Whoops.
Okay. And so for the listeners who aren't on YouTube, this is Phil M. Jones, exactly what to say cards.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's okay. That's my job. Right. No.
So
but
there you go.
Yep.
And then we're tracking their calls. So we go over that as a weekly thing. So I let them know, hey, everybody, weekly call tracks. And then there's awards for that too. So, hey, I did the most calls this month. So the award is X. So, we're doing different things. So some of my guys like to golf. So we have some golf things for them. Some of them, they really like to eat out. So we'll take them to a lunch. Different things like that to encourage and foster that growth within them and in their business. So I'm constantly in that. So I'm in a separate office now, but I'm constantly going to the other office every single day, several times a day, to just make sure, okay, where are things at? What kinds of questions are you getting on the phone? Is there anything pressing? What kind of info do you need from me? Is there someone I can connect you to? And this is in between my different prospecting calls and things like that, because my whole thought is I want to grow my team's business as much as possible and their individual businesses as much as possible, because it grows all of us together.
Well, absolutely. So, yeah.
Rising tide raises all boats. So
right.
If we can raise everyone's boat, if we can help everybody out, then everyone's going to do better and everyone will feel better in production. So, we had people on my team that would have been in the top 15 in production in this office just by themselves. That's how well they did this year. Or at least top 20 in production this year. So but it goes back to just keeping them accountable and watching them do these things and saying, hey, you're not making your calls this week, or you're not doing your social media posts that are bringing you leads. Okay, so what's going on in your business that you're not able to do that? What can I do to help you? And then what can we do to make sure that you're continuing to grow yourself so that you feel like you can have more money in your pocket? Like one of my guys wants to get married, right? That's a big goal for him. Okay, so guess what? We have to go and get you a ring, dude. So it's going to cost this amount. Let's go and freaking get it. All right.
Yeah.
Marriage is expensive. Let's set you up. Okay. Another gentleman really loves taking his family to vacations. Okay, awesome. Vacations. Let's make that the big goal this year. We want to go on an extravagant vacation. Okay, that's the pie in the sky. What do we got to do to go there? And how do you feel like what things do you feel you need to get to that next level, to push to that goal? And let's break that down. Let's make it into digestible chunks.
This is one of the this is why I think you're a phenomenal leader. And I remember when we first talked on a podcast like strangers, you'd mentioned something about, as your goal was to build a team, but you needed to be able to take care of, provide enough, and you've always had that mindset of taking care of your people. And it's a lesson for leaders that you need to understand is people don't give up their goals when they join your team, right? They don't, when they're invested in your goals, it doesn't mean they give up theirs. And if we can invest in our team members' goals and align that with us, getting them to where they want to be, then they're in, man. Right? And so, helping a guy buy a wedding ring, that's huge. And to know that kind of detail. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I want to synthesize a little bit because, again, I want some takeaways here.
Okay.
So accountability, you've got meetings, right? So that's a process. It's a system. We do this often. And so that it's a built-in, everybody knows this is coming, right?
Yes.
And I love that because there's nothing worse than accountability when you don't know it's coming, right? Like that surprise kind of thing. But knowing it's coming, that helps. You can prepare. Two, there are some metrics. This is not personal. This is metrics. This is numbers, right? We're tracking the call number. And but then your question back to them is if they're not meeting the goal is, how can I help you? Right?
Yeah.
Again, that is a huge leadership lesson. And, something I want, aspiring leaders to hear, because again, that's the job of the leader, right? It's to facilitate the success of the team. And beautiful, there's camaraderie in the role play, right? That's building the team. That's the practice. That's how we get on the court. We practice together. And then there's just the, hey, let's go blow off some steam and go golfing or go grab lunch, right? But you're forming more than, these are not cogs in a machine. this is a group culture that you're establishing, right? And it's got accountability, the best kind. It also has that fun, and it also is moving them towards their dreams, and that's really truly allowing you to prosper as well.
Right. I mean, and I think I look back at my numbers this last year. 22 of our 41 deals were my team members. 12 million in production for the team outside of me. So half of our production came from these 3 individuals going out there and making it happen for themselves. So I love that. I want to double that for them because I want all of my agents to make 6 figures. So how can I do that? How can I set them up for success? How can I help them reach their goal for 6 figures? What does that look like? So that we can continue to help push their ability. That's what I'm looking for.
I love it.
So I'm looking for more agents. I'm looking for more people who want to be pushed to excellence, relentless in their behavior towards their pursuit of excellence.
Well, let's go ahead and plug that, So if you're listening to this and you're a real estate agent and you're looking for this kind of environment, reach out to Tyler Hungerford, get an interview, find out about the systems, and be a part of something that can grow, right? Grow for you, grow for the team, and reaching your goals. Tyler, one of the things that we've talked about in our coaching sessions is that goal of having the team outproduce you, right? And you're a beast, right? But
I try and make it difficult for them.
Absolutely, but I mean I think that's the goal for here in 2024. In my mind, right, is let's get the team out producing Tyler and Tyler producing increasing. What are the goals that you've set for yourself
for 2024?
Yes, sir.
80 transactions for the team, $50 million in volume. That's the goal.
Okay. Now, you say 80 for the team, and I'm just going to, and this is kind of what we do in consulting.
That includes me.
Absolutely. So have you broken that down by team member so they know what their piece is?
Yeah, so Saul wants to do 24.
Okay.
Robert wants to do 16 to 18. Edgar wants to do 16 to 18.
Okay.
So that's kind of where they're at, and then I produce the rest.
Okay. And then
I'd like to add more agents so we can do even more because we have the leads, people.
I love it. And that's another thing I want to point out is that as we've been in a challenging market, you've invested money in the business. So there are leads coming in from that, but you're also checking the ROI on that. It's not just money thrown in the wind, and the accountability is what makes that money come back, right?
Well, exactly. And another thing you told me to do was, where's your P&L? Where's your P&L? Where's your P&L? Where's this money going? How is this money spending? How is it coming back to your business? Well, I know exactly how much money I spent on marketing, and I know exactly how much money that marketing brought back in. And it is at least 3 to 1. So if I invest $1, I'm getting 3 back. Now, that's a great return. I would love 10 to 1. We're just not there yet. But as I invest in my team, invest in their time, invest in their training, that money will compound and will bring back in to us a much higher level.
Yeah, no, I believe it. I mean, as their individual production goes up, and this is one of the things we worked on this year, which I'm loving seeing it bear fruit. So you are phenomenal at following up on these leads, right? And I remember we talked about it. We talked about that, and you said, "Well, I don't want to give those leads to the team because they're too valuable." And I said, "Well, no." Right. And so how did we get you comfortable with giving those leads to some of the people? Or I think we have one of your agents working those specific leads now. How did that happen?
Now all of them are.
Now all of them are great.
All
Phenomenal.
of them are ready.
Good.
All of them are ready.
So what was that process?
Well, you had mentioned that to me, so I had to then create some kind of standard in which I wanted my team members to work, so that I could see they're following my system, which leads me to believe that they could handle these additional high-end leads that cost me a lot of money, but would have the follow-up ability to continue to push to get those to the closing table. So a couple metrics I did was how many calls per week were they making?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I wanted to see 80 to 100. If you're not doing 80 to 100, you're not getting any of these leads. Two, are you bringing in business? Are you setting appointments? Are you having consistent lead gen times that you're sitting down and creating opportunity for yourself? So they're all doing that. Okay, so now I can open. Okay, so then number three, do you know how to close a transaction, or do you know how to get set up so that when I enter that room and sit at the table with the seller or the buyer, we're getting a signed contract with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so did you set us up for success? And now uniformity has been boom, everyone is setting up for success. So when I walk into that room, we're seeing conversion rates of over 80%.
That's
So
phenomenal. Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
awesome. And now we're just getting consistent appointments. So
Right.
if you get appointments, I'm going to help you get the close. And now what I'm doing is I'm setting them up. So I'm telling them, listen, I'm going to do a few of these with you. I'm going to do a few of these appointments with you. I want you to follow what I do, listen to how I do it. And then next time, I'll be here with you, but you are going to be the one to handle this. You will be the one to go through this meeting, and I want to see what you can do. So
Yep.
pay attention.
Yep.
Pay attention. And they do. And now I have Saul is doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing it for a very high success rate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's just continuing to build them and their business and their skills. And, I'm realistic, right? I don't know if you're going to be here forever. That's okay. But if I can set you up for success in helping you build your business, and I can be a part of that small little thing, that's a treasure for me.
Yeah.
So that's a gift. So if I can help someone create what I've created and be even better than me, I mean, come on, that's exactly what you want. So, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do with them. I'm not trying to keep it all to myself. You told me, don't do that. What are you doing? It's not, if you can give them opportunity, if you can help them help you, you're only going to benefit. So what's the problem here?
Right.
So I'm trying to take that mindset with it. It's about we, not me.
Yeah. Well, and systemizing what you do so well, and you said, I'm going to get them almost there, and then I'm going to let them walk away. And I think we talked about get them to 80% as good as you are. Right.
Yep.
And then hold them accountable, and you'll find out they're going to be as good or better within a period of time.
Right.
But we've got to give that initial investment. It's unnatural. It's scary, but I admire how you've done that so much. And I really do think this is going to be a phenomenal year breakthrough, because you are, you invest in the team so well. You've systemized the process. You've got the culture kicking. And so really excited to see what comes. So Tyler, any last words before we close out this episode of the Prosperity Collabs?
If you are not a person of faith, I think you are making a mistake, because I can tell you from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, I can see God's hand throughout my entire company. I can see God's hand throughout my entire life, and I would not be here without the blessings of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Thank you, Father God, for all the things that you've given me. I have an amazing relationship with my parents, my wife, my brothers, all of that because of my relationship with him. So if that's not something in your life, faith should be number one. Okay. And like Keller Williams talks about all the time, God, family, business. Okay. That's the way it should flow. So for me and my house, we will serve the Lord, and it has been continual growth, continual opportunity because of that. I want to start using this as a platform for that, to speak into other people's lives that you can fail. Like, I dropped out of college. I had a full ride scholarship for school. Okay. Full ride. Didn't pay a dime. All right. I failed miserably. I couldn't do it. For some odd reason, it just was not clicking for me. And I could have taken that and allowed it to defeat me. But I prayed. I asked the Lord to take that failure away from me, allow me the opportunity to learn from it, and give me the skills to get to the next level and the next step and the next step and the next step. And he has continued to meet me every step of the way and continue to press impress opportunities upon me every single way. And it's because I'm just relentless in my pursuit of him and excellence. And so if you don't have something you're fighting for or stand for, then you will have nothing. So it has been an incredible journey. I'm excited for the next parts of it. Thank you for being such an incredible leader. Like Chris and I, the other day, I had a problem, a personal issue. And he said, you know what, let's pray about it. Let's stop what we're doing right now. Let's pray about it. Like that level of leadership for me was just like, okay, I totally am in the right place. And I'm so thankful for leaders like you that come through and do stuff for me like that. Like that speaks volumes to who you are. That was awesome. Wow. So that helps, right? That helps because this is a mindset game. Business is all mindset. It's like baseball. You can be a great hitter, but if you don't have the mindset of I'm going to get up there and I'm going to crush the ball, then you're not going to hit. That pitch is going to beat you every time. So you have to have that same mindset here in business. I am going to win. I am going to succeed. I'm going to find a way. There is an opportunity and I'm going to go out and get it. If you've got that mentality, then you should be here. You should get here. Because this is the place to learn, to be better, to succeed, and to grow.
All right. Well, hey, I've got nothing to say to that, but amen.
Amen.
So, all right.
I know Tyler, that was long-winded. Sorry.
No worries, man. Thanks for coming on. I'm going to sign off, and I really appreciate it so much, man. Hey, if you are interested in getting some of the consulting and the coaching that's benefited Tyler's business, you can go to prosperitycollabs.com, hit our complimentary coaching session, and we can work with you on business planning, lead generation, or organizational development. We'd love to have the opportunity to help you grow too. So prosperitycollabs.com. We'll catch you guys next time.